Story 1. Voting with your cash and your feet is a vital part of liberty. Now, how about those 5-year-old 250% import tariffs by Canada on U.S. milk, cheese, and butter? Tariffs function like subsidies and price supports in a lot of ways. In my humble opinion, one of the U.S.'s most damaging policies has been the price supports around U.S. sugar production. Bad for everyone except producers and politicians. I'm happy that Reddit insists on posts that will stimulate discussion. If U.S.-produced dairy is as unhealthy as many have asserted, why does Canada allow it to be imported at all? Story 2. As an American, I say boycott and use targeted tariffs to apply pressure where possible. I stand with Canada if it is threatened, and it is embarrassing that it happens to be the president or puppet of my country who is making the threats. Story 3. Fully support. Honestly, I'm also kind of envious that Canada is showing such strong unity. I wish we would show the same unity against Trump and his Make America Great Again cultists. Story 4. If you threaten, insult, and put tariffs on their goods, how do you expect them to react? Donald Trump is insane complaining about the trade deal with Canada, a deal which he himself made in 2018, which at the time he claimed was the best trade deal ever. Now he complains that whoever made that deal must have been stupid. Story 5. Their boycott makes me strangely proud. Not that I'm Canadian, but I've been raised to empathize with the underdog and hate the bully. I'm jealous Canadians have a real enemy to unite against. Meanwhile, we Americans are being told minorities are the enemy. Story 6. I think it's great. Tourism dollars going away may be the only thing that gets Make America Great Again's attention. Frankly, I wish they'd slap us with an electronic system for travel authorization or electronic travel authorization type visa requirement to enter Canada. Make people apply in advance before their visit. No more spontaneous entry for non-essential reasons. Story 7. Fighting Do It. Canada fought in the trenches with us during World War I. Canada stormed the beaches of Normandy with us during World War II. Canada sheltered our aircraft and citizens when they were grounded on September 11th. Canada fought with us in Afghanistan for 20 years. And by the way, provided my United States Army unit with much-needed medical evacuation support when no one else would or could. What the United States is doing is not how one treats a brother. It's not how one treats a friend. We deserve every bit of this. Story 8. I'm all for it. The only way to get a politician's attention is when enough of their voters scream they are going to elect someone else. Okay. Let the supporters of Make America Great Again suffer. Story 9. I say keep it up. This country, the United States, has its head so far up its own that it thinks going backward to 1929 is progress. I'm legitimately sickened by the way this first month of this administration has undone literal decades of relationship building that past generations have spent blood, sweat, and tears building. Boycott away. And while you're at it from that side of the border, I'll boycott American goods from within. Story 10. American here and full support. Whatever message can be sent should be. This country is off the rails historically, and that's a fact. It doesn't mean it's the end, but we have to put in work. Story 11. Keep it up. Metaphorically, as Kendrick said, never let a man piss on your leg, son. Either you die right there or pop that man in the head, son. I am with you on this Canada minus the wheelchair guy in Toronto. Story 12. Makes complete sense. Do not play nice with a bully and aggressor. Hopefully we can patch things up one day, but for now they are better off pushing back. Story 13. Good. Unironically, do more of it. Get folks in other countries to do it. You all don't understand the magnitude of what's about to go down in the United States. You need to get clear. Get out of the blast zone. Story 14. Please do so. Stop letting us be the big kids. Seriously, if the rest of the world just says they are not going to let the United States dictate everything, we lose half of our power. Trump is ruining the country. Do not let him ruin everywhere else, too. Story 15. American here. Boycott United States goods until Trump is gone. Total support from me. So embarrassing, this whole thing. We were in Toronto a few weeks ago, and I didn't want to tell anyone where we were from. Story 16. I don't blame them at all. Canadians have been good to us, and we repaid them by spitting in their faces in the last election. Many of us have been thoroughly brainwashed by the idea of American exceptionalism that we think we can't get our asses handed to us. Using the royal we here, obviously, I disagree personally. Canadians have every right to boycott United States goods and services, and I do not have any ill will towards them for exercising that right. Story 17. Fully understandable. Why should they send their money to a country where the government treats them poorly? If they need ideas on other things to do, I am happy to oblige. Story 18. I think it's good. America has bullied the world for far too long. Anything to help wreck the economy here helps, so some of his supporters see how much of a loser he is, and the independents that swung his way will finally realize he's a chump. Story 19. In the United States, it has always been the case that our dollars have been more influential than our votes. Hit Elon Musk and his associates where it hurts their wallets. The advocates of Dogecoin are already hurting farmers and manufacturing with idiotic tariffs and senseless canceling of agricultural contracts. So don't worry about backlash from the farmers. Some are already turning on the Make America Great Again supporters. Story 20. As an American, I fully support it. More power to Canadians, and I hope they succeed. An economic fallout is the only thing the deranged, power-hungry maniacs will understand. Story 21. Excellent decision that will put Canada ahead in the process of disentangling itself from United States relations that the world will be forced to do over the next few years. The only thing to expand is asylum laws for the skilled labor that will be looking to leave the United States as the situation worsens. This could quite literally catapult Canada into the economic stratosphere if played right. Story 22. Completely justified. But I imagine I'd be speaking on behalf of all sane Americans and say that we'd like Canadians to know that we love you and this too shall pass. Story 23. Let me put it this way. If the Canadian government reneged on a trade agreement that they renegotiated 7 years ago and made up an insulting reason to impose a 25% tariff on all United States imports, while calling to annex us, I would boycott Canada. Story 24. I have love and respect for Canada. I have friends in Toronto. Canada is absolutely right to respond to this new stupidity, and I hope the idiot gets the message, painful as it may be for us here in the United States. Dear Canada, on behalf of all sensible Americans, please accept our apology for this nonsense. Like a painful bowel movement, most of us will be relieved when this is over. Story 25. A group of friends were upset about the booing during the national anthem at the United States versus Canada hockey game, as they found it disrespectful. I suggested reversing the roles or imagining if it were the United Kingdom or Russia making jokes about us becoming part of their country. We would react the same way. Good for Canada is what I think. I tried my best by voting against this in November, and I lost. Story 26. Canadians, please do this. Cancel Prime and try to move away from Meta products. Obviously, totally boycott anything associated with Elon Musk. Research other key targets that are linked to Donald Trump, especially. Americans who love their country, please join us. Let's get the ball rolling. This is the least we can all do. Story 27. I hope the world joins them. I hope the world stands up to Trump and shows his voters what a small, pathetic little man he is and that we need other countries. We should want to engage with them peacefully and positively. Story 28. They should. I am an American. Our government is making threats that should be taken seriously. If anything, Canada should be fully prepared to cut the United States off completely. Story 29. They should. The America crowd that thinks we are so great has forgotten that we only got here with the help of our allies. They need to be reminded that alone we are nothing. Story 30. I am embarrassed that my country voted the Orange Menace in a second time, and that our government is now threatening our allies and friends like Canada. Sorry, guys. It sucks. Do whatever you need to do. Story 31. My husband works for a global event organization that changes host countries, similar to the Olympics, and this year is in the United States. Coincidentally, the last event was in Canada. They have had several Canadians withdraw, and in their letters, they say, "We know these events are supposed to promote global cooperation, but we cannot participate in good faith when your current administration threatens us with tariffs and invasion. The host city has already anticipated the extra income from the tourism revenue, which would be huge for this city, and now it's just gone. Nobody blames the Canadians, and we support them in this fight. It just feels unfortunate for everybody. Story 32. Good for Canadians, I just hope they can keep it up for as long as necessary. The only real power any of us have is our money. Hit them in their wallet and they change their tune. Story 33. As an American, I'm on board with it. The same goes for booing the national anthem at National Hockey League games. As much as it punishes those of us who know and mean better, it's a great way to get the point across about tariffs and dismantling decades of efforts to bolster free trade and friendship. A hard lesson needs to be learned sometimes. With that said, know that many of us do care about Canada and international trade. It is a vocal minority creating these problems, and I hope others get annoyed enough to do something about it. If money is the only thing the people in charge know how to speak, you're speaking the right language. Others need to do so as well. Story 34. I am considering changing my travel plans so I can spend my hard-earned American money in Canada to show them my support. They don't deserve this, and whatever response they come up with is completely justifiable. Story 35. We get it. We don't blame them. All we can say is sorry, we hate our current government too. But trust us, not all of us voted for this. Story 36. I'm all for it. At this point, the only solution is trying to find a solid alternative for the United States dollar and to band together and isolate the United States. What's happening is horrific on a historical scale. Story 37. Absolutely agree with their reason for boycotting. Imagine someone saying they were going to take over this country. The ignorant people in this country boycotted French fries, which are not a French food, because France opposed our invasion of Iraq. Story 38. I'm American. I'm in favor of any country that the individual in power decides to antagonize, doing whatever they need to do to protect themselves. I didn't vote for this, and in fact, I do not believe he won fairly. All signs point to the individual in power and Elon Musk manipulating it. Story 39. Please do. I fully support your boycotts and will happily support you as much as I can. It is too late for Americans. We have Trump to deal with for the next 4 years. Just please remember to vote and get your friends and family to vote as well. Story 40. I support it. Canadians are the best neighbors and allies we could have asked for, and what former President Donald Trump is trying to do is appalling. They are using their purchasing power to make an economic impact, which is a great form of protest. I also like that this could help Canadian businesses thrive. Hopefully, in addition to supporting larger Canadian companies, people are also shopping locally when possible, though I understand that is not always feasible. The one thing I wish were different is some of the rhetoric online about Americans, particularly the broad generalizations about what we are doing when at least 75 million of us oppose this and have quite fond feelings towards Canada and Canadians. For perspective, that is like if the entire population of Canada, nearly twice over, collectively rejected something but could not prevent it. Not only are we living with a decision we did not make, but we are also being vilified online and lumped in with those responsible for the harm. And as someone in a demographic where 92% of us did not vote for this, it is even more frustrating. It feels like we showed up, acted for the collective good, and got a middle finger in return. But back to the main point, yes, I support what Canadians are doing. Go Canada. Story 41. As a Texan, I'm embarrassed by what our country has become in such a short time. Good for Canada. They sound like a country that cares about making it a better place to live instead of just doing things to upset the other side. Story 42. As a Michigan resident, I think our neighbors are highly admirable. I just wish more countries started doing this. I'm doing my part by shopping locally unless I have to go out and go to a big store. It's actually been great trying some new local chains instead of large corporations. Money is the only thing people in power understand anymore, and, brother, we can take it out of their hands. Story 43. You do what you have to do. If people voted for this because things were too expensive, then hit them in their wallets. This American is cool with it. Canada rocks. Story 44. As a New Englander, I fully support them. I genuinely believe they will stand up to us. It makes me sick to see so many people, corporations, and countries bending a knee to Trump. He is weak. I am angry and sad about my country. Story 45. As an American, I support my neighbors to the north. I think their efforts will ultimately help people realize there are repercussions to their elections. Hopefully, we can resume our mutual friendship after this administration is gone. Story 46. Good for them. All the pearl clutching about them booing the national anthem at the recent hockey games really makes me laugh. Let me remind you, the President of the United States of America has threatened on multiple occasions to annex or conquer Canada. Imagine if someone said that about America. We would have a collective meltdown. They are united in a common enemy. It sucks that it's my country, but I can't in good conscience be upset when we have threatened them with tariffs and subjugation. Story 47. They are free to do as they wish. If a Canadian wants to drink Crown Royal over Jack Daniels and visit Mexico instead of the United States, go for it. If there is one proven method of actually getting a message heard, it is expressing frustrations with one's wallet. All I would ask is that you do not treat every American you meet like the enemy. Half of us did not want this any more than you.